All right, welcome back here on Live Impact News on WCNT Plus. I'm Nick Cerdovic. Carlene is also here in studio. All right, so we got some big news. It is a big day, a new chapter for a local station here. Charlotte's oldest broadcast station is leaving AM radio dial after more than 100 years. Beginning today, WBT News Talk will move to a new home at 107.9 FM through the end of the year. So we got some special guests, and I got details here, but I got questions to ask them, so I'm not going to spoil it. You know the show, Good Morning BT, with Bo Thompson and Beth Troutman. We have Bo and Beth here in studio. Thank you guys for joining us.
Hi, we're so excited to be here.
Oh, Beth has a whole fan club.
She walked in here like she owns the place.
I'm like, I had a couple of people ask, you know where Beth is? You know where? I'm like, I don't know. I think she's somewhere around here.
I used to roam these halls about a decade ago, so it was weird to come back in. It was the first time I had been back in the studio in a while, but I walked in and it felt exactly the same. Exactly the same. Although I haven't been into the studio. I think when I was anchoring the evening news, I think that studio was a little bit different than it is now, because it's been a while.
I guess, how are you guys doing today? It's a big day for the station.
It's a bittersweet day in some ways, and I'll tell you why, just so people understand. WBT AM has been around since 1922. And today is the day when we convert or take our signal to an FM signal that is 107.9, like you said. We've been on 99.3 for several years, several decades actually. But this is the first time we've been on a signal which is, I mean, it's the most powerful FM signal in this area. So it's a big move for us because we've been one place for generations. And we can talk a little bit, I'm sure, about why they made the move, but it's a big deal for us because a lot more people, just this morning we did our show, and a lot more people, it was evident, were on board.
Yeah, we got to, we have a text line, which is one of the best things about doing radio. You know, after a 20-some year TV career, having instant interaction with your listeners is so much fun, and we probably got 1,000 texts over the course of this morning with people joining us on the FM signal for the first time, people who were hearing the show for the first time but felt compelled to write in. But the fact that this move really moves this station into the future, and it allows us, we've been around for 103 years, and it allows us to be around for 103 more, because as technology has changed, I mean, any car that you buy now doesn't even have, my car doesn't have an AM dial. It doesn't have the ability to access. So people today were writing in saying, oh my gosh, I'm commuting and I'm finally excited. I have you programmed in on my car and not listening to you on the app, or listening on a radio at home in the kitchen that had an AM dial. So that part of it is really fantastic for us, because we get to continue doing what we desperately love doing, and we get to do it with a bigger listening family, and they can connect with us and connect with each other in a bigger way. And hopefully that means we've been doing this together for 4 years. Hopefully we'll be doing it on this broadcast signal for the next 30. Right?
That's the goal.
That's good, right?
And she mentioned the fact that some cars don't come with AM bands anymore, and the ones that do, we find often that a lot of times the younger generation, even if they have a car that has an AM radio in it, they don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And as much as I love AM, I mean, that's been my whole career. I want to be in the place where, if this station is going to continue to be relevant and to be what it has been, a place where we've got to take it to where people, or the most people, are. And I think this is the way to do that.
Yeah.
Well, I guess, what is the role of radio now? Because it is, and it continues to evolve, but it's an important job. What would you say is the role of radio, especially in the news space?
I think connectivity. I think people are, especially now, given the political climate, given the feeling of division that is palpable across the nation, what we are capable of doing, especially with the kind of show that Bo and I do, we're capable of bringing people together. We're capable of not only sharing ideas, but sharing really personal stories and having a real, genuine, unscripted conversation that For us, when we're talking about news, it's based in fact, not based in opinion. We're not out there trying to throw flames or make people feel agitated. We want people to go out into their days and feel positive and feel good and feel joyful and feel connected to their community.
Yeah.
And because it's a live medium, because people, like I was saying just a minute ago, can connect with us in the moment, it, I think, makes information less intimidating and potentially, and this is what our hope is, potentially bridges that gap that people are feeling between each other, that we want to bring have a space where people can share their ideas, share their opinions. They're not going to be judged. They're not going to be attacked, especially live on the air, and that they can connect with each other and find reasons to celebrate. I mean, Charlotte is such a great city, but the surrounding area is remarkable as well. And some people hear news stories about Charlotte and they think Charlotte's the scary place. And some people hear stories about the outskirts of Charlotte and they think, oh, I don't want to go out there because I'm not going to fit in or my views aren't going to be accepted. And what really we're learning is that we're all humans who are just trying to do the best that we can, and we're looking for people who make us feel accepted and feel good, but also feel informed and feel entertained and welcome.
Like local radio personalities, they're like family.
Yeah.
Like I remember I grew up in the High Point, Greensboro area. I used to listen to 102 Jams. And so I felt like I knew Kyle Santillan, beat out. Like I felt like I knew those people. Do you feel like that with listeners?
We said it on the air this morning. Today was our first day on 107.9, and I said several times, if you're just joining us, because we didn't launch a new show today.
No.
We've been doing this show for 4 years in its current form, and so we are all, I said, we're like family.
Yeah.
It's an ensemble type show. We all sort of have stories that we tell, and so we came on the air, and I told Beth before we went on, I said, I want to make sure that we go in this on two ways. We're speaking to a group of people that have helped us get to where we are, and over the course of the last 4 years, we've been the #1 show in the market several times.
Yeah.
On the strength of just our AM signal. So we have a lot of listeners that have been part of our family and are very important to us. But we also knew that we woke up this morning and we're on a signal that there are a lot of people waking up going, well, who are these people? Wait a minute. And our task is to say, wait a minute, before you go away, we got to tell you what we are. And we don't play music as a rule like a music station would, but we play songs from time to time. But the great thing is that we really get to do everything. And there aren't many formats, radio or TV, where you have a 4-hour show, and we of course have commercials like commercial broadcasting has, but we, on any given day, it may be a huge news breaking story, it may be weather, it may be the Panthers, it may be sports, politics, entertainment. I mean, it goes all the way down, and we basically go where the story is. And we always say we have short attention spans. so if we get bored, we just move on to something else, right?
And the cool thing, like you said, that you feel like you get to know radio people. We are genuinely really good friends, and the team that we in that studio together, we're genuinely good friends. And one of our ads even says we don't know we have microphones. It's just us hanging out, talking and laughing, but also having the serious conversations when the news story takes us that direction, or having studies suggest that the best of friends rip on each other. That's like a love language, and we do.
And it's different from years ago. I can say that. I feel like I'm old enough to say that. Where you feel like you had to be very serious when it comes to news.
Yeah.
And you don't necessarily. You can. I think people understand that you can flip the switch from being silly, goofy, jokey to okay, all right, it's time to get serious. I think people understand that.
Well, and we said this today too on the air. There are days when, and you all know this as well as anybody, where all of a sudden you think you know what you're going to do, and a breaking news story happens, and sometimes it may be a very serious story, and we go into sort of what we call wall-to-wall breaking news mode, and we can do that.
Yeah.
But we also, the days we live for are the days when sort of all things are equal, and we're back. And you mentioned like 102 Jams and some of these other shows that you can think of that you loved. We basically say, like Beth said, it's best when it sounds like we're having a conversation, that somebody walked into the room and decided to mic up, as opposed to sitting down saying, we're going to talk into the microphone and do this radio show. You know what I mean? So
it's such a fun experience to get to to have something that's completely unscripted and really authentic. And I think you really hit on it, that people are aware now of how three-dimensional you can be. I think social media, oddly, in ways that it has been sometimes negative, has helped with that, because people can sense now what's authentic and what isn't. And I think it's a feeling that people get. And I think that that's why now people are getting more accepting of this idea that it doesn't have to be, serious and buttoned up and written down and all the time.
Yeah, but like I always say, like some of my first news experience was watching Dan Rather grow. I love Dan Rather, but very serious guy, and I'm like, I think I got to be that. I got to be serious all the time, and I don't, because I'm not a. Carlene can tell you, I'm not that serious.
Well, I can tell you, I worked at WBT long enough that I was working there when we were a CBS radio affiliate for a while. Dan Rather, it's interesting you say how serious he seemed, because he is. I mean, there's that famous where he experimented for a while where he would sign off his newscast and he'd say, Dan Rather, courage. And some people may think I'm crazy, but look it up on YouTube. You'll see what I'm talking about. But Dan Rather also loved radio, and Dan Rather would call, the anchor of the CBS Evening News would call WBT periodically to be on the morning show, and he would do it with other CBS radio affiliates. But I always thought that was cool, because there's a guy that you think is one way, and he was pretty buttoned up on TV, but he also has a respect and an admiration for this other medium, which obviously we love. And Beth now, I basically, Beth was in TV, and I've converted her to a radio person, and that's probably my claim to fame, if anything.
Like you, I was anchoring the 4, the 5, the 6, and the 11 o'clock news here at WCNC, and as you can tell, I'm not a buttoned-up, serious person either. And I used to, get in trouble because I would touch my co-anchor, and they're like, Beth, you're making the viewers uncomfortable. You're being too, or I'd emote, or I'd find things funny, or and all of those things exist in this space now with Bo. And I have to give WCNC a shout out too, because I actually would not know Bo had it not been for the fact that I was an anchor here. I was in Rio covering the Olympics for WCNC, and Bo Thompson was doing the Bo Thompson Morning Show at WBT Radio, and reached out to me. I always say he slid into my DMs on Twitter, but he was just messaging me saying, hey, I'd love to have a local flair of the Olympics in Rio. And I saw the message, and so I texted him back, and I said, yeah, sure, I'll do one interview with you. That'd be fine. And I only got cell reception by this dumpster that was like behind the video village or the Olympic Village. And so I'm standing beside a dumpster, and we do this 15-minute radio hit, and we had this instant chemistry, just this back and forth that was totally natural. And instead of just doing one interview, we ended up doing a segment every single day that I was down there.
Wow.
And it's how we met each other, is because of this building that I'm sitting in right now. And so walking in here today, I got really emotional, because it was this beautiful full circle moment that life sometimes gives you these gifts. And I had that moment today walking back in here, because WCNC is what brought me back to Charlotte. I was living out west. This is my home. I was born and raised in Concord. And they brought me back to Charlotte at a time when my mother was battling cancer. I came back to take care of her, and she passed away, and life changed and shifted. And it's all of that story that you sometimes think are the worst moments in life bring you to some of the most beautiful gifts that you could possibly imagine. Because I was never thinking about radio, wasn't a thing that was in my brain.
It's funny how life works. So.
Right.
We should also mention that when we came in here today, who do we see but Larry Sprinkle, who's like the mayor around here.
Maybe governor. I don't know.
He's come on our show several times, and as a kid who grew up in Charlotte, being fascinated with radio, and Beth growing up in Concord, I know that Larry has this incredible history here. But before that, he was one of the best talents in all of Charlotte radio. And every time I see him, I say, you've got like this whole gear that you don't even use half the time anymore. But when he comes in and sits with us, we just kind of sit back and watch the master. Because, so Larry, seeing Larry walking in here today, kind of like Beth saying walking in here was nostalgic and emotional for her. When I see Larry, I say, out of all the days to see somebody, I was really glad to bump into him.
Before I get you guys out of here, it's not a new show, but obviously a different. It's on FM. How do you find your footing? I know that's got to be tricky because, look, I mean, you're talking to a new audience. You're talking to loyal listeners. How do you find that footing of, all right, we've been here, but we still got to introduce ourselves to a new audience?
That was the challenge today, actually, and it's the challenge going forward. As I said, I'm kind of caught in the middle a little bit because I started working at WBT when I was 16 years old, when I was in high school.
So you're 25.
Exactly right.
You're good at this.
I just crossed the 50-yard line, basically.
Oh, okay.
And so this station, this AM 1110, has been my professional life.
Yeah.
And so I have so many colleagues and so many memories over the years, and I love the AM band, but I also know, being a lifelong radio guy, that if I want WBT, the legendary brand, to continue, it's got to be where people are, and it's got to be at a place that carries it into modern times. And so I'm sad on one hand. I've said this a million times the last 2 days. I'm sad, but on the other hand, I'm ecstatic because I know that this brand that we are still the stewards of, I know that by what we started today, we have a new lifeline that's going to carry us, I think, well into the future. And so today, the challenge was, hey, thanks to all the people that brought us to the table, but also, hey, all of you that are listening for the first time, man, I can't wait to tell you and bring you into this group, because it's what we do every day that we love.
And I said, we had this conversation, we were talking about as if we don't talk to each other enough during the course of the day. We were talking on the phone on the way in this morning at 5 a.m. and we were just talking about is our goal, and it's our method. Just be us, just be who we are as people, and let that come through. And don't alienate the people who have been with us all of this time. Bring the other people in with, love and kindness and fun and all of the things that we do, all the things that we talk about. We made it a point, fist bumping right before the show. It's like, let's just be us. Let's just do what we do, and hopefully people will feel the joy that we feel, because we love what we do, and we hope that comes across to people. And I think that's how you bridge that gap and how you find your footing, because we love it. It's easy to hopefully make people feel welcome in it and attracted to it.
One last thing I would add is that we celebrated 100 years back in 2022. And we had the Centennial Celebration, and it was a huge event. We did it at the Halton Theater at CPCC, and brought back just hundreds of alums, dating not back to 1922, but some people that date back pretty far. Yeah. And I always can know that we did that, and know that we gave the station its proper 100th birthday. And so, like I said, we want to continue into modern times. But as far as the AM band goes, I can go to sleep at night knowing that we did everything we possibly could to give it that moment, because there are not many stations in the country that are around that long. I mean, some formats are gone after a year. Yeah. And yet we, those call letters, those famous WBT call letters, made it to 100 on the AM band, 103, and now by virtue of this FM move, now we got a lot of open road ahead, which I'm excited about. And
still available for the time being on 11:10 a.m., right?
Through the end of the month. I think January 7th is the last day. The station will still own 11:10. Yep. The content, it'll still be WBT AM. The content will change, but we're giving people time to find their footing and figure out where to program their dials for a few weeks.
I call this studio the neighborhood. You guys are welcome back anytime here in the neighborhood.
We're going to take you up on that.
I'll be back tomorrow.
Okay, all right. We'll book them. Let's book them. All right, Joe Security, book him. He's not here. But, all right, Bo Trout.
Ooh, you can call him Bo Troutman. That's how he works.
How do I know this is going to find this audio on our show tomorrow morning?
It's going to, see, they got me. Beth Troutman, Bo Thompson. Good morning, BT. You can catch them 107.9 FM. Thank you guys for stopping in studio. It was a pleasure. You guys are great. I kind of want to do a fist bump
I
too.
can fist bump you too. I can't reach you. My arms aren't long enough.
Boom.
I can't get there. I'll hug you when all this is done.
She'll hug you for 20 minutes.
Yeah, it'll be awkward. Just wait. Just watch out.
All right, let's head to break. We'll be back here in just 2 minutes here on Live Impact News on WCNT Plus.